In this segment, talk the law, Donald Trump, as well as the ongoing legal problems facing Fox News.
I don't care what the right says. I don't care what Trump says. When you're charged with 34 felonies, it's not a good day. I don't care how you spin it. It's not a good day.
Well, and by the way, I know we're not getting into the weeds on the 34 felonies, but I love the fact that Bragg went beyond the Stormy Daniels scenario and included a pattern of paying people off who know bad things about him. And the doorman and Karen McDougal in the picture, I think only helps to bolster the case.
I wish they charged him with the New York RICO, which is Enterprise Corruption Act. I guess it didn't rise to that level because Mark Pomerantz in his book, the former special counsel, in a way analogous to his special counsel, had wrote a whole chapter in his book, People versus Donald Trump, where he thought there was at least an argument to be made there. So be it. That case continues on. In the real world, does it have an impact on Fulton County DA or DOJ that Donald Trump is now charged with indictments to them? I mean, as human beings here, not from a legal point of view.
I'm sure if you're the Fulton County DA and her staff, you're looking at this from the perspective of, hey, this is what we have in our future. And sure, she's continuing to consult with law enforcement in terms of security and threats. There's no better city in the nation to deal with this security challenge than New York City. NYPD, the FBI New York Field Office's Joint Terrorism Task Force, right? They do this kind of thing all the time. The Secret Service. But now move the venue to Fulton County and Atlanta. Yes, of course, a major metropolitan city, but nowhere as sophisticated or rehearsed as NYPD or size-wise, forget it. So this is a challenge. They need to actually go study what NYPD and FBI New York have done, because this is what they are in for. Now, with regard to whether this will have the threats and everything will have a chilling effect on her, I don't think that's who she is. I think she'll go with the case and the facts as she has them.
It's funny, Glenn Kirschner said the opposite, not a chilling effect. He goes, prosecutors were competitive. So we hear that person got, I'm like, now, hey, we got to charge this guy. This is ridiculous. Right. They're beating us. Yeah. And that was Glenn's take. It was very interesting. It was like sort of the the intimidation. It's more of a motivation.
Well, of course, people who go into the FBI, the prosecutive professions, you're absolutely right. They're type A personalities. And, please tell me I can't do something. Please go ahead. Tell me I can't do it. Yeah.
So you mentioned DOJ case. There was a big development just in the last few days. Mike Pence is not going to appeal the decision that he was trying to prevent himself from testifying in the January 6th investigation with Jack Smith. He's not appealing it. Trump's team might appeal it, but they're going to lose, just like they lost to Mark Meadows swiftly. This is settled law. Say what you want about this right-wing Supreme Court. They've shown every time on these kind of things that they are normal judges and justices. They're not going to help give Trump an exception. They might be horrible on other substantive issues that I care about, but on this stuff. So how meaningful and significant is it that the former vice president of the United States is going to stand before a grand jury and swear an oath and testify about the president that he worked under?
We are now setting precedent and doing, the word unprecedented has probably been used a million times since Tuesday, and we're going to hear it. We're not over with that word. For the legal nerds out there, right? For the legal nerds, we've seen precedent set with Pence. Why? Because for the first time in legal history, we've actually had a ruling that said what a vice president does when he presides over the Senate, those rare times, and particularly for electoral college vote ratification, he is considered a member of that body, and therefore he is protected with regard to the very narrow question of what he did that day and prepared for that day. Right. He does have speech and debate clause protection. Very cool if you're a legal nerd like us.
Okay. No, I agree. They made that motion, and we laughed at it, and then the ruling came down. It was very narrow. I mean, you're like, okay, that's fair.
And by the way, I get that. I get it, but understand that for everything else, other than the logistics and function of that day, where he, he's got to talk. And the big thing here is, look, Pence was looking for this. He got what he wanted. He's a guy who wants to have it both ways. He's running for office. He's got to try to pretend that he's with Trump, but not really with Trump. And so This gave him the subpoena to hold up. I tried to fight it, but I'm not taking it all the way. Yeah, I guess I gotta go. They made me go. He wanted that, and he will spill his guts.
And you're so right. He does. Mike Pence is the quintessential want it both ways. While there's some other Republicans, and I don't say this to praise him because they're doing just what should be normal, but Asa Hutchinson or Governor Sununu, who are much more critical of Donald Trump and saying this is ridiculous. So Hutchinson is running. Hutchinson is the first Republican to announce formally who's actually running against Donald Trump. Yeah, Nikki Haley is not running against Donald Trump. If DeSantis announces they're not running against Trump, they're running for whatever they're running for.
Well, Nikki Haley's running for vice president. Is what she's doing.
Right, exactly. But Asa Hutchinson is running against Donald Trump, and that's needed in the GOP. And there was ever a time for conservatives who truly want to reject Trump to form a new party or have some kind of last stand. This might be it. I know you're not a political person, but on a legal end, is it concerning that we don't hear loud voices in the GOP denouncing Trump when he posts a picture of Alvin Bragg and him menacing with a baseball bat, and we don't hear them now denouncing in one voice the idea of Donald Trump Jr.'s, or even at the speech Trump, even if just make it about him at the speech at Mar-a-Lago, bringing up the daughter of the judge? I mean, if they were responsible public servants, shouldn't be going, this is outrageous. There's no place for this.
Yeah, I just yesterday, I thought, where is the sole voice? Give me one or two people from the GOP just saying, hey, it's not cool to threaten somebody's daughter. Just give me somebody. If I missed it, please tell me, but I haven't heard that voice yet, and I don't count on it happening. Look, the golden rule should apply here. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. If you like the fact that your daughter's being threatened, you think it's cool, fine with you, your own daughter, or you can't go out and have dinner somewhere. I mean, I'm not for all that. I don't believe in it. And hey, how about Sarah Huckabee Sanders coming out and saying, hey, I didn't like it when my kids and I were at dinner and I got harassed in a restaurant. How about her coming out and saying, this isn't right with the daughter. Don't make threats about and prosecuted personnel. Don't do that. Haven't heard that voice yet. And it's very disturbing.
In the big picture, when you take a step back, Frank, do you have to pinch yourself on some level that we're having a conversation about the leader of the Republican Party, who's far ahead the leader for the 2024 nomination, a former president of the United States of America, who is acting, as you put it, mimicking at least the behavior of drug bosses and crime figures in what's going on, playing out right in front of us right now?
It's amazed me for the last 5.5 years that I've been doing this. I cannot, it's a surreal experience. I worry about our stature in the world, never mind our own national security risks involved in this. I really think it's eroded us around the world. I'm concerned about the erosion of our institutions, particularly the Department of Justice. And my job is to think worst case scenarios. That's what MSNBC has me do. That's what the FBI had me do. And the worst case scenarios involve things like understanding that, if these federal charges we're all waiting for come down, and a Republican or Trump or other Republican becomes president, they will pardon Trump. He may pardon himself, or Ron DeSantis, if he wins, may pardon Trump. So when people scream all over, and there's lots of folks doing this on TV, why didn't DOJ, lodge the charges that Alvin Bragg had to lodge in New York? Why isn't, if this was a violation of federal campaign and tax law, this payoff scheme, why didn't we see the feds do it? Well, we didn't see the feds do it because it was a corrupt, attorney general and at the time. But look at the beauty of our system, Dean. Those state charges, New York, Fulton County, Georgia, they can't be pardoned.